Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. This is a video series I do called Transfer Tuesday, where every week I come on and share what kind of financial moves we're making to get us closer to our ultimate goal of financial freedom. I will admit I did skip making a video last week. Time just got away from me, but that did not mean that I did not do a transfer, because I did. So we will kind of recap the last 2 weeks in this video. So for last week, which would have been the date of May 9th, I did do $250 to my Roth IRA, and I also had transferred $500 from our checking into our travel fund. So I've mentioned that I really want to be more intentional about saving money for travel, so I'm kind of trying to balance that while I'm still working on paying or doing this Roth IRA and maxing that out, but doing a little bit of both. So now for this week, which would be May 16th, I did another $250 towards the Roth IRA, and exciting milestone again this week. We are officially over the 60% mark, so we have contributed $4,000 total to that account so far this year, on our way to maxing it out with the full $6,500. So as I've shared before with my little chart, it's not quite in the nice even increments that I like, so I technically only needed $3,900 to hit it, but I didn't like the $3,900, so I did it to the full $4,000. But either way, we're still at the 60% or above the 60% mark on that. I'd also mentioned that my employer had recently, as of the beginning of May, switched to weekly pay instead of bi-weekly pay. And at first, to be honest, I thought, well, and I still think, I guess, that it was a dumb decision. I mean, I get it, and it was supposed to be to appease people so that they can, have a more steady flow of income coming in on a weekly basis instead of every other week. I think this can particularly be true if you're paycheck to paycheck or you're lower income and you really need that money, or depending on like when maybe a mortgage or rent falls due, it could be in the middle of, that pay period. So there are a lot of perks to it. However, I think from a business standpoint, it just created more work for the organization, but whatever. So I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, and I'm actually finding that I'm enjoying it. We certainly, don't need the money on a weekly basis. We were fine getting it every other week. My husband and I were on the same like pay period schedule. Like every other week, it was always our same one. They weren't alternating. So now that I am getting paid every week, I'm finding that it's easier to budget and get us from week to week and only looking at 1 week at a time. I do tend to kind of look at, okay, what's the balance on the credit card? Let's pay that off, and kind of reassessing and then knowing, oh, okay, well, my paycheck's coming again this week. So I've mentioned before, our paydays are on Thursdays. However, the money is usually the day prior. So now it's like on a Wednesday. So it's basically like a Wednesday to a Wednesday is now my budget. So it's making me feel like we have more money, and I know that's stupid because we don't. Like literally the check was cut in half, so now I'm just getting half of it. So I'm not sure how it's impacting our spending, but it's making me more intentional in how I am using that money when I'm only looking at a week at a time. I think a lot of this plays in with the credit cards. We do put a lot of things on our credit cards, but we do pay them off. So instead of having, like $1,000 bill, it will be less because we're paying it more frequently. So I think part of that is helping. So knowing that, again, it's going to be another payday, I was able to move a large chunk of money from checking into savings, because as I've talked about before, a lot of our like our mortgage and any of my investing, or my husband has his credit cards linked to the savings, so payments come out of that savings account. So I was able to move a good chunk from checking to savings, and then that's where that Roth IRA withdrawal will actually come from, is from that savings account, just because that's what it's linked to, and it's fine. So we were able to move a large sum there. Again, I didn't particularly put it towards any specific like travel fund or anything like that at this point. It's just gonna to sit in that savings bucket. But I think if this trend does continue where I'm feeling like we have more money to do, put towards our goals, then I think we're going to reassess what those goals are. So we are, just 2,000 or what are we at? 2,500 away from maxing out that Roth IRA for the year. So then we can, at that point then say, okay, well, what are the goals that we want to work on for the rest of the year? We've talked about the travel one. I think one of the other ones we might want to pursue is saving up some money to do some additional things around the house. We have a lot of landscaping stuff, but I tend to struggle with wanting to pay for that when it's things that we can do ourselves. I just don't enjoy doing it. We have a lot of trees that need to be dealt with, things like that. But thinking more inside, we want to do some pot lighting. We'd love to do a kitchen renovation, but I don't know if I have it in me to do that. That would just, I feel like, be kind of a nightmare to live through, and obviously very expensive as well. So that's enough rambling for me, but we are continuing to work on our goals, and I am enjoying getting paid on a weekly basis instead of bi-weekly. So hopefully I will be on time and be back again next week with another update for Transfer Tuesday. I hope you have a great week.